Hey, it's Kearn. Welcome back to my Fallout New Vegas walkthrough. In the last part, we finished business here in Novak, and in this part we're going to head through Helios One and Boulder City. So I ended up having to do this stuff off camera because my recording, I wasn't satisfied with how it turned out. There were some issues with it, so I'm just going to do it over real quick and just sort of explain things. So there will be very little combat in this video because I've already killed everything that needs to be killed, really. But I'll still show you where the enemies are and I'll tell you how to beat them. So hopefully that shouldn't be too big of an issue. So when you make it to the front doors here, there's a woman who will ask you to leave. You can either lie with a speech check of I think 35. If you have NCR rep, then I think you can get in. Maybe I don't actually. Maybe not. But if you have science skill, you can talk to her and you can tell her that the solar arrays, you notice that the solar arrays are not giving it full power, and she'll ask you to head to the back room and talk to the guy in the sunglasses. So you're in the back there. You just want to hug the right wall and stay on the ground floor. When you get to this room, just stay on the ground floor, go forward, and Mr. Fantastic here.
Hey, man.
You want to ask him about his job. With a speech check, you can get him to give you some caps with no karma penalty, and you basically want to get his password. So you'll ask him what his job is and ask how would one retarget the mirrors, and then say you are going to retarget them, and then he gives you the password. And then you talk to Ignacio and do a similar thing. And with that, you should have both of the passwords for the terminals. So once you have both passwords, you want to come outside here and there are two terminals outside you have to interact with. The closest one has traps, namely the most important for you to watch out for are 3 frag mines in the ground, one here, one in the middle, and one on the right. You can either shoot them. If you're really quick, you can possibly disarm them, but it's really, you should really just shoot them or throw a grenade or something, because it's really not safe. And you want to activate the terminal and reset the mainframe connection there. And once you have that done, you want to head across to the opposite side. There's a second terminal inside this gated area. Sandbags around. You'll have to kill some guard dogs, unless you have Animal Friend, and reset the mainframe connection here as well. So with those two things done, you're able to head inside the collection tower. And there's a few things you're going to have to watch out for once you're in. Take note that turrets have very high perception and robots have respectable perception. So sneaking is going to be difficult and if not impossible. What I recommend doing if you're not, well, I just recommend doing this regardless, is head straight across once you enter into this room here. You need to be cautious as there are frag mines. There's going to be one on the ground right there. But if you hug the left wall, there will only be one frag mine you have to deal with. There's a couple on the shelf here, so be mindful of those as well. I didn't have to grab them or disarm them last time because I hugged the left wall. And there's a computer here that's locked with, I think, very easy or easy. So if you have any science, you should be able to get into it. and you can either have the turrets target everything, so they'll still shoot you, but they'll also shoot their friends, and they're more likely to shoot their friends, I think, if they're visible, and their friends will shoot them back. Or you can deactivate the turrets entirely, which is probably the safer option. And while they're deactivated, you can actually still shoot them and get experience for killing them. And you get free sneak attack criticals because they can't detect you while they're deactivated, but they're not getting much experience, so they probably give more when they're actually activated. So once you have the turrets deactivated or targeted or whatever, you have to be cautious. There's an enemy that will spawn on the lower floor. If you're at a decent level, he'll spawn as a Mr. Gutsy, but normally he'll spawn as a Robo-Brain if you're low level. A Protectron will be roaming the catwalks up here. You know, I wonder if you can get a Sentry Bot to spawn down here if you're really high level. Although I feel like that's unlikely. But I don't know. In the slower room here, there's some components. If you don't already have a scrap metal, make sure you find one here. You should be able to, because there's a lot of toolboxes just sitting around. And there's probably some scrap metal you can loot from one of the robots if you kill them. The safe is locked medium, so 50. And even if you can't unlock it, there's going to be a couple pulse grenades on the shelf. And there's pulse grenades and pulse mines in the safe, and some pulse grenades on the shelf. You'll probably want these. They're very handy against robots. If you have Eddie with you, you're going to be really careful with them, though, because they'll basically kill him in one shot. And they have a very high radius. So they're very good at what they do, and Eddie is no exception to the rule. Just going to grab some parts here. A science magazine. I might as well just sweep through and check everything, because I wasn't entirely thorough my first time through. Yeah, there's some scrap metal on the shelf there. If you don't have scrap metal, there's one on the shelf here, and toolboxes have a chance to spawn them basically whenever. So in this little like electronics closet or whatever, this is like maintenance closet. Make sure you grab that scrap metal if you don't have one. Or get one from the corpses. Like there's scrap metal from the sky, some energy cells, and flamer fuel. So if you're even remotely thorough, you should have no problem getting scrap on the way down. A couple Mr. Gutsies there. I believe that the first one will spawn as a Robo-Brain if you're lower levels, but they still do a lot of damage. So I'll be cautious about that. Mr. Gutsies are obviously pretty dangerous because of their armor. They have a very large damage threshold, so you need a powerful weapon or armor-piercing rounds to get through their DT. I didn't know there was buffalo gourd seeds in here. Another magazine. That magazine would prove useful if your repair skills lower, because there's a lockpick door coming. No, it's not repair. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess there is a thing you need repair for later on, but you can also complete the task without any repair. So Protectron will, I think, always be on the lower floor. And if you come around the left side, there's two paths you can take here. So if you take the right path, you need to get through a medium locked door, so you need 50 lockpick. And note there's a Poseidon Energy employee ID card. So if you have no repair and if you have less than 15 repair, or well, I guess it kind of depends. If you really, yeah, you can just grab it. And there's a door you have to lockpick, and if you go through that way with the lockpick door, you can just head straight through to the final area. If you come around the left side, then you will have to deal with some Protectrons. At least one, depending on your science skill and repair skills. So the one will be roaming the hallways here, and there's going to be a number of them inside this room that are activated but will be released from their little storage units with this laser tripwire emitter. And I believe that the one who patrols the hallway can also set off the tripwire. That, or they just like to clip out of their cases. Either way, they can get out. It's pretty good. I like that. It's titillating. Anyway, either way, you get through to this next room. Buffalo gourd seeds. It's always nice to have. More buffalo gourd seeds. Wow, someone really went all out here with buffalo gourd seeds. Oh, a fresh apple. Somehow I doubt that. Okay. And once you're through that area, you head up to the observation level. And this is where you can actually... This is where you'll decide where to route the power. So if you want to side with Ignacio and the followers of the apocalypse, you will need to route the... Well, I can't show you, but you can route power to the full region, not emergency output, just plain full region, and it will say brownouts likely, but that's fine. NCR reputation you can get if you do the strip, I think, in Camp McCarran or something, and then you can also get yourself a you can use the power plant as a weapon and fire a laser just anywhere, I think from like a satellite relay. That requires you to grab a targeting like pistol thing, which you can get in Freeside from a little boy running around. And with good barter, you can get it for very cheap as well. So you need to repair this generator with, I think, 35 repair skill and 1 scrap metal, or you can come up here if you don't have any repair skill, and you grab the energy card, or the energy ID card, I guess. You can interact with this robot here. Okay, well, if you have science, then it's fine, but the ID card also will have him sort of run over and check for things to repair, and it's very nice, and there we are. So one thing to note, most people, unless you have the project, no, it's the A definitive armor mod, you're not going to see this hallway here, and I followed it, and inside this room I found a number of things, but the most notable was this prototype riot helmet. And a hard locked safe. Although I think that this had junk items in it. Junk and misc. Ugh. Yeah. Just a hammer. Hammers are useful though, so I can't really complain that much. Oh yes, and on the computer, you get a note, and upon I spent some time looking over it, and I have to guess that he's saying essentially that Veronica was right, the helmet she brought me isn't NCR standard issue, it's a much more sophisticated variant, still pre-war in any case, and rare. He basically says that, or he hints at a armor counterpart. And the only clue I'm getting to, well, this says Thursday, then it has the 2 dates, which I don't think are really relevant. So I'm guessing that if I want to find the armor, I have to sort of interact with Veronica in some way. Or the Brotherhood. So it could be in a bunker, just like hidden away, or it could be... Oh yeah, that was written by Father Elijah. I'm pretty sure, at least. So it's either in some bunker, or it might even be in the Dead Money DLC, which I really wouldn't like, but... And I feel like it wouldn't be, but it's possible, regrettably. So we'll have to check around there once we... Actually, we're getting pretty close to making it to the... We can get Veronica as a companion, too. So we'll just kind of bring her along and see what she can tell us about it, if anything. She'll make it getting to the Brotherhood bunker much easier. So anyway, once you have... Okay, yeah. Thank you, Python robot. Wonder if that's a reference to the... What's it called? Programming language. Probably is. Now, once you have the power decided where you run around it... Oh. Here, scanner. That's Project Nevada. Once you have decided where you want the power to be routed, you want to head outside. And if it's between, I think, 9 AM and 3 PM, then you'll be able to interact with this switch here. And I've already switched it, so I can't unswitch it. But essentially, it will turn the plant on, power will be routed, and when you head back up, the door will be locked for a moment while it powers up, usually. And once it's unlocked, you can head back down and talk to whoever you did the thing for. So Ignacio or Fantastic if you did the NCR. Or, I mean, they might be dead. Or hostile because you killed everyone with the Archimedes laser defense system or whatever. So I mean, there's a number of outcomes, but I like doing Ignacio because he gives you a big book of science, and I like getting reputation with the followers of the apocalypse. I find their rewards to be useful. Namely their lab coat. It's a pretty good utility item. Especially if you can get it earlier on before your science skill gets too high. And medicine skill too. So that's everything in Helios One. Do with it what you will. You can either use it as a weapon, which will make NCR like you less, or you can be a little bit more benevolent and give it to everyone, or you can just give it to what the NCR wants it. Where the NCR route it to where the NCR wants it. God. Oh my God, Victor, why are you following me everywhere? That's so creepy. I was before I started this recording, I basically reset all my stats, or not my stats. I slept and I ate in my motel room, and I drank. And after sleeping for like 8 hours, or it was 12 hours, and it was to like 9 AM or whatever. It was like 7 AM even. Victor just woke me up and was like, "Howdy, partner. Fancy meeting you here." Yes, it's my hotel room, and I was sleeping. And I know that bit of dialogue is supposed to happen immediately after you do Boulder City. But it never does for me because I always just keep moving. So I've actually had him, like, he always pops up in really awkward spots. Like, there's a quest later on in the game where you're supposed to find a Legion spy in Camp Kearn, and you're doing, like, a stakeout on the what the fuck. Please tell me I'm not the only one who saw that. What just... What? Okay, then. Yeah, these are fire ants. Literally fire ants. Well, anyway, I was doing a stakeout and Victor just showed up out of nowhere. I was like, "Hey, how's it going? What you doing there?" And it just cracked me up. I don't know how I managed to get it to happen. But it was really bizarre. There's a number of fire ants here. They're melee enemies, so if you can pick them off from a distance, they really will not pose a threat to you. But if you are melee, I would not recommend picking a fight with them. Because fire hurts, you know. It will burn you, just a little bit. And one more, I think. Alright. That's the dry lake. Inaccessible tunnel there. I'm pretty sure you can't enter any of the tunnels. Unless you have mods that add extra areas to the game, like A World of Pain, I think does it. There's a cave out on the cliffside there, where you can find, I think, a unique weapon if you kill some nightkin. My gun skill isn't high enough to use my hunting rifle yet, so I'm not terribly confident in fighting them. I'll probably check it out later. But just noting that it's there. I can't remember exactly what the weapon was. I think it was a decent one, though. So I guess look it up if you're really interested. This is Vault 11. I said, yeah. So we're gonna do Vault 11 right after I show you Boulder City. And depending on the length of this, I will possibly just tack it on to the end of this episode. Vault 11 is by no means a short area, but it's not terribly long either. Especially if you know how to get through it. It can be annoying, honestly. Most vaults are also annoying. So this is the 188 trading post. And here's Veronica. So I'm going to grab her and then head down to Boulder City real quick.
No offense, but you look like you've traveled a long way down some bad roads.
I come from the grave.
Huh. Well, in that case, I take it back. Well, welcome then. Well, a bunker, if you want to get technical. I think it sounds more interesting my way. But I'm not there much anymore. Yeah, I'm not worried. And actually these days, I think they'd rather have me out here anyway. So listen. I had a run-in with this group calling themselves the Brotherhood of Steel. Pretty strange bunch.
Usually harmless unless you have advanced technology around them.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem for me.
She says that she has a power fist on her arm.
Where are you headed anyway? Guess we have that in common then. I'll be honest. There are places I've... Good. If I turn out to be...
Okay.
Now you're talking. I know.
Yeah, well, you know, be honest with me.
Sure.
And it will be
just
cool.
Don't ever ask me. Well, thanks for taking a chance.
So, do you know anything about some you have some weird dialogue that's not normally in the game about, you know, prototype riot gear armor or anything, you know? No, I didn't think so. Alright. So Veronica's she's skilled and unarmed in melee, I believe. You can check it here, actually. Alright. View stats. Energy, science, unarmed. Her melee isn't that good, actually. I think it's better than her lower skills, but it's still pretty low. But her unarmed is respectable, as is her energy. So she can use laser, plasma, and unarmed to good effect. So their I-Tech was a little bit unorthodox. I went all the way up to Vault 11 before heading into Boulder City. So you can really just kind of cut through here. Just go straight around when you go up the road. So, real quick. Helios One's down here, and the main road's here. So if you go up by Eldorado Gas and Service and just follow the road up, you can cut across the road here, or probably even earlier, and head down to Boulder City. So it's really quite close to Helios One and Novak.
Hello.
And this spot, I can't really read that, it's kind of bright. Rangers and soldiers of the new California Republic turned back the forces of Caesar's Legion during the Battle of Hoover Dam. Over 100 men and women gave their lives on Nevada soil to defend loyal civilians and the principles of the Republic. May this humble stone be an enduring memorial to their valor and sacrifice. I think it was actually the NCR Rangers who lured, or at least helped lure, the Legion's army into the city here, and they had explosives all over the town, and they just blew pretty much everything up while the Legion was in here, and that's how, it's one of the main reasons why the NCR won the first battle. Well, hi there.
Hey. Sounds like we're running prim now. I'd still rather take my leave at the strip.
A customer. Not many people come into Boulder City these days. Most of the town is rubble, destroyed during the Battle of Hoover Dam. And the only other thing around here is the concrete mixing yard. The NCR has been constructing bunkers up and down the river. From what I've heard, it's... Travelers over at the 188, just up the road, said that the Legion has overrun a... Come back real soon.
Yeah, they already took Nipton. And they're threatening Novak. Though I don't think I've ever seen a bunker made by the NCR. So, maybe they're still early in construction in this game. So I've already done this quest, so the two hostages that are normally inside are outside. But there's a man out here who will tell you there's a situation with the Great Khans, and you can tell him that you can tell him anything basically, and he'll let you go in. You want to negotiate a deal with the Great Khans with a speech check, or you'll have to do something hostile with them. But at any rate, you want to come into the building across here, and when you go inside, you'll talk to one of the men who was with you, or I guess was with Benny when he shot you, and he'll tell you that he doesn't have the chip and that Benny like backstabbed them. You know, big surprise. And game crash. Great. As if you're unable to meet the speech check, then you'll have to do some fighting, and you'll get less experience, obviously. And your reputation with, I think, the Khans or the NCR will fall. So either way, you lose reputation. But you want to head straight across from the door here, down the street, into this building, and you'll meet Jessup, who's one of the men who was present at your shooting. And he'll tell you that Benny actually backstabbed him and Murphy as well. Murphy's the another con who was there. And Murphy's dead. So that's pretty great. Good. And he'll then tell you that I think Benny's at the strip. And if you pass a 45 speech check, you'll get an engraved lighter from Jessup. And when you head out, you want to head right back outside and talk to the man who told you about the situation. And he'll tell you he got orders to kill all the cons anyway. And you want to tell him that if he has any integrity, he'll honor the deal. And that will give you a good reputation with both the cons and the NCR, and you'll be set. And that's it in Boulder City. And we have Veronica. So before I end this episode, I'm quickly gonna head over to Hoover Dam, and I'll show you how to get to the what do I call it? There's basically a surplus store you can use if you have respectable reputation with the NCR. Let's see, what's my speech skill at? Oh, that's right, it's 45. And I think I have Meeting People magazine, so I should be able to meet it if I have the reputation requirements, although I think you might need to be more than just accepted. You think you might need to be liked, even. But we had to get that radio, so maybe we're good to go. Anyway, this road here will lead you down to the dam and the river itself. There's a ranger outpost here. A station, rather. Get to the dam. You want to just stick on the road here. Otherwise, you'll end up just kind of diddling around in a lower area that's not really very useful. You know, you just kind of can't really get anywhere from there. So just stay on the road. Should be noted that if you're using a disguise and trying to sneak in here, there is a number of, especially later in the game or during like particular missions, there will be guard dogs and rangers who will be able to detect your disguise or see through your disguise, I guess. And that's which can be annoying. This ranger here will see through your disguise, and sometimes there'll be a dog with him as well. A brush gun? No, just a rifle. Okay. Every time gets his own music too. It's pretty good. I'm gonna walk down the bridge here to like the sandbags and just keep walking until you get to the fast travel, because it takes a while. Such a large area that the centralized fast travel point is kind of in a weird spot. But if you fast travel to this place, you'll get put right outside the front doors. So the main things that you want to come here for are this snow globe, and down the elevator. There's some quests here later, well, like end game quests. If you start with the NCR, you have to come here to get some of the NCR quests from the Colonel. It's dark. But anyway, if you sort of hug the left wall again, it's kind of the magic rule in this game, almost. You can make it to the offices. And immediately after entering the store, first room, this man here is who you want. He's a quartermaster.
Always nice to have a friend of the NCR around.
I'd like to purchase some supplies.
Unfortunately for you,
I haven't to a friend of the NCR?
well, that is great and all.
Okay, I need like 5 speech. So I just need some like vodka and some so I think I need like 3 charisma from various things to get. Yeah, I'm just gonna use people.
Always nice to have a friend of the.
Yeah. So if you're a friend of the NCR or like accepted or whatever, you can pass a speech check of 50.
I guess I can make an exception.
And then you get the goodies. So there's a few merchants like this in the game. I think there might actually only be 2. There's one for the NCR and there's one for the Khans. And I think the Khans are easier to get good reputation with. But as you can see, he has a plethora of weapons. Not too good, but the main thing... Well, he has leather armor reinforced. It's pretty good. And some recon armor even. That's nice. But the main thing we're here for is his ammo. He has a ton of ammo. Like, AMR ammo, one of the rarest types in the game. He has 310 of it. He's got 45, 75 Gov, which is used for the, like, Sequoias. Tons of this. I'm just gonna grab all that I can, really, because I can never have enough of that type. And lots of 308s as well, because it's their job to outfit the Rangers. So the Rangers obviously require these things to function. So we're basically, you can get a lot of good stuff from him. I'm just gonna give him all my chems. I'll try to make this pretty quick. There's not much I have to sell anyway, so. Just give him all my goodies for selling. Yeah, so having access to merchants like this can be very, very useful. I would personally recommend holding on to any mini nukes you find and just storing them. They can be very useful later on. I'm not a big fan of explosives in this game, so I prefer to use precision. Looks like I'm going to take a pretty hefty blow to my caps for doing this, but at the same time, I'm going to be good on ammo for a long time, so I'd say it's a decent trade-off. I can make it a little bit less. Oh, I have plenty of 308s, actually. Yeah, I have 116 308 rounds. I remember Harlan gave me... Not Harlan, what was his name? I killed him in cold blood, and I don't remember his name or his face or... Anyway, there's not a whole lot you can do down here, but there is one thing of note, and it's actually... At the very least, it's cool, and I'm going to show you what it is.
Civilizing Trim will show what we can do for everyone else in this town.
Oh my god, there's so many people. I mean, it's Hoover Dam, but come on. Lots of guards around. Okay, is it either? It's either in this. Yeah, it's in this room. Okay, so there's some wooden crates back here, and this one has Chinese stealth armor, which is a throwback to the first game. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the same effects as it does in the first game, so it doesn't just cloak you for free constantly. But it does give like really good DT, and apparently Project Nevada supports it as Nike armor. Although I don't have the or something. It has at least has a helmet overlay, which is it's pretty cool. So I mean, it's just kind of a nice thing to see, I guess. Gives some sneak skill, good DT. It restricts the type of headgear you can wear though, so there's that. That's the only downside, I guess. Or the main downside, I guess, if any. So that's a little Easter egg, kind of. But, you know, it can be useful. +5 sneak's pretty good, and it has a good balance of being considered light and giving you a decent amount of DT. But I think it's surprisingly heavy for light armor. I mean, it weighs 20. And that's the same amount as, what's it called? The NCR's Combat Ranger gear. But I guess the weight doesn't necessarily just reflect its its actual weight, but it probably has some restrictive movement and stuff as well.
Hello.
Oh, I really want your sniper rifle. I'm not gonna find one for so long. They require really high gun skill, but it's just I really want one because they're so useful. I mean, I have. Oh, you know, I'm not really gonna need one because I have like so much ammo for Rat Slayer right now. But still. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this part. So I showed you guys that very, very, very helpful merchant. Again, you need. Let's see what my rotation is real quick. NCR. I'm accepted. So if you're even accepted with the NCR, you have access to him, and you need to pass a speed check of 50, but that's not too steep anyway. So very much worth your time to go talk to him. Very, very, very helpful merchant. So just make sure if you're siding with the NCR that you use him. Otherwise you're wasting a very good resource. Lots of ammo to be had, mostly, and you can get some weapons later on, even I think from him. But GRA is better for that. It's the weapons themselves. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this part. I will see you guys next time, and we will clear out Vault 11 real quick and move on with our journey through the wasteland.